Wobo, Goetzi Hopa, Tashidele, Kosdepo Yete. Napobo Jongi met, but I think I've been in so much Sampa that I'm actually probably part Tibetan. And I want to thank everybody for inviting me to come out here and speak a little bit about our relationship, Native Americans and Pueblo people. Many years ago, about 500 years ago, in the same spot here, many of our people, our ancestors, also faced similar circumstances under the colonial period of the Spanish period here in New Mexico. And in this very same plaza, many of the same things that have happened to your Tibetan people in Tibet, being tortured or being killed, happened in the same plaza that we have here. And on 1680, in August, they came here. All the Pueblo people from around this area came here and gathered here to uprise against the Spanish colonial period here we have. And underneath that, the portal across the street, last group of Hispanic people had gathered while my people came around from different villages and fought for the right to be who we are as Pueblo people. And today you can see across the streets, my people are selling their wares and sharing their cultures and being who we are now. And that is the hope I have for Tibetans throughout our country and throughout the world and in Tibet, to have their purpose to be who they are, to have self-determination in Tibet, and not to be oppressed by the Chinese communist government. And so I am really honored. I think my ancestors commiserate with you in your struggle, because your struggle is our struggle and was our struggle. And so I want to recognize that, and I want to recognize the youth who are here as well, and never to forget where you came from. That was His Holiness told us that when we visited him in 1993. And so never forget where you come from, even though you were born here in America. You are Tibetan, and you should always remember that. Don't ever forget your language, because that is the most important connection that you have as Tibetan young people, is your language. That is the important connection that you have to your culture. So I took a public speaking course last semester, so this is my first true test of my public speaking skills. And so thank you very much. I do want to say that the current government in China under Xi Jinping has really made a really negative turn towards its people in China. And so Xi Jinping really needs to hear Tibetans again. Hong Kongers need to speak up against Xi Jinping. I know there's lots of threats against Taiwan right now. So the Chinese government is really aggressive right now, and Tibetan people have been really peaceful towards them, and you really need to also make sure your voice is heard to Xi Jinping and the current efforts that the Chinese government is doing here not just in America but throughout the world, where they're trying to suppress its own people from speaking out against governments in the universities that they have here. When Chinese students come to America and go to school in universities, the Chinese government is really silencing them and not being able to speak out against the Chinese government. And so want to recognize that as well. And so something that I know that somebody had talked about our individual effects on I know it's a huge thing to be fighting against the Chinese government for your rights, but we had to remember what Shantideva had espoused in saying that we have to be courageous in our efforts. And although we have, each of us are individuals, we still have our purpose to be courageous. And whenever we get individuals together, we have a whole group of people that can fight against whatever wrongs we have in the world. And so I want to thank you for that. And Tuchena, I wish you all a very nice day today.